practicing wifeship. The duties of a wife start when your bride price is paid, not when you have a child. So when you have a child, you are a baby mama. You are not a wife. Hello? When you have a child, don't call yourself a wife. If a man impregnates you and your family get upset and dumps you on the man because the family is angry with the man who has impregnated you, the fact that you are dumped on the man doesn't make you a wife. There is a procedure that makes you a wife. There is a protocol you need to follow to be called a wife. There's a protocol you need to follow so you can be referred to as a husband. If you are not married, you cannot be called a husband. So the husband duty starts from when you pay the bride price of a woman for her to become a wife. So when you have not paid the bride price of a woman, you are not a husband, you are a man. So the good book says that for it is not good for a man to be alone. They made a helper for Adam and Adam became a husband. So the fact that you are paying people's fees, the fact that you are taking care of a home, the fact that you are paying feeding fee, the fact that you are doing things around you, it is not a sign of a husband. Hello? So I hear people saying this every time, and I'm more than a husband. I'm taking care of a lot of widows. If you are taking care of widows, you are not a husband. You are a philanthropist. If people want to pay their fees and you are paying fees for people, that doesn't make you a husband. If you are paying rent for people, it doesn't make you a husband. If you have a side chick, it doesn't make you a husband. If you have a sex mate, it doesn't make you a husband. Is somebody getting what I'm talking about? So you are referred to as a husband because there is a wife in your life. And the only way a wife comes into your life is when you pay the bride price of a woman. When a man has not gone to a point to see that for this reason, a man will leave the father and mother and become one with his wife, that is when you become a husband. So your first basic role as a husband and your first basic role as a wife is when your bride price is paid. When you are cohabiting, stop calling yourself a wife. You are a shameful person to call yourself a wife when you are cohabiting. Don't address yourself as a wife. If you have a child with a man, you are not a wife. If a man plans to marry you after you are pregnant, never call yourself a wife. You are a baby mama. So baby mamas are not wives. For that matter, any man watching me, listen carefully. If you have a baby mama who wants to demand things from you like a wife, stop, don't do it. The blessing of a wife cannot be taken over by a baby mama. So listen to me very carefully. Wherever you are as a husband, maybe per your marriage you are there and you're struggling, you're looking for a child, mistakenly or deliberately or in any other form, you move up there to go and impregnate somebody's daughter and put her in a family way and make babies with that person. You cannot share equal estate with your wife as compared to a baby mama. A man cannot spend, you can't even draw a timetable between your wife and a baby mama. Let's get a clarity. You cannot. Don't ever compare yourself, a side chick, to a wife. Don't. If you have a child with me, never ever compare yourself to my wife. Don't come to a position of telling that even your wife, if it's your wife, you will do this. If it's your wife, don't do that. Stop the crap. Stop that nonsense. It doesn't make sense. Your comparison in life is when you are comparing yourself as a first wife and a second wife, but not a baby mama to a wife. When I buy a car for my wife and you are a side chick, shut up. Is somebody get what I'm talking about? If I buy iPhone 11, iPhone 20, iPhone 30 for my wife, you have no right to demand same for yourself. The fact, never think that because you are giving conjugal support, never think that you've given me a child. Look, I don't have a boy and you gave me a boy, but you are not a wife. So the role of a husband and a wife starts from bride price. When a man gets the ability, when a man gets akukudro, when a man takes and defies all odds and takes a decision to make you his wife by coming to your parents to go through the process of paying your bride price, that is when you become a wife. Hence, when you become a wife, then you become a helpmate. So if you are not a wife, you can't be a helpmate. So don't support a man who has not married you like a wife will do. Fools support men who have not paid their bride price. Because there's no law that gives you offer when you support a man who is not married to you. The only legal evidence that gives you portion in an estate of a man is wife, not a baby mama. All the laws in the world will give favor to babies or children in the demise or in case anything happens to the man who impregnated you. They share estate with the children, not you. So never support a man to grow business if you are not a wife. You are only a helpmate when you become a wife. The definition that you people gave is like you've gone to peep through my note. And I really want to teach today that a lot of girls today are bragging, making to know. If it is not me who helped him, I played a role like a wife in his life, and right now he has turned his back at me. We have to turn our back at you. There is a role that a side chick plays. Never trespass. Never go beyond your role as a side chick and play role as a wife. Maybe you say wives have sex. You also have sex. Wives cook. You cook. Wives wash. You wash. Yes, you do all those things. But the fact is that there are some things that wives will benefit from that you will never benefit from it. This is why you need to desire to be a wife. Hello? Being a baby mama doesn't make you a wife. I don't have children. When the fact that you are producing children for me doesn't take you over my wife. My wife doesn't give me sex, and you give me sex in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. It doesn't make you a wife. My wife doesn't give me food. My wife doesn't respect me. My wife doesn't submit to me, and you do. It doesn't make you a wife. So the role of a husband and a wife begins with bride price payment. And when you help a man to pay your bride price, you are a fool. What, Jimmy? Because the only way we can see the evidence of a husband is when the husband has gone for a list and is ready to spend on you. So you can't be upset when a married man is using the wife as an example in your life as a side chick. You can't give a man warning. I think we can be fine when we are discussing anything without discussing your wife here. The same way you can also not demand anything that I have given to my wife as a husband. So when a husband goes to buy something for the wife and you hear, you can't call and say, what about me? At times you forget that you are dealing with two women. You are not two women. One is a wife, one is a side chick. Hello? So side chicks are making marriage bad. Side chicks are making people feel like marriage is nothing. Side chicks are making people feel like as for marriage, there's nothing to write home about. Let me tell you, if a married man comes to have a relationship with you, it doesn't mean that marriage is bad. Is somebody there with me? If you give access to a married man to have sexual intercourse with you, it doesn't depict the fact that marriage is important. The fact that somebody is married and is telling you, I love you, I want to have a relationship with you, it doesn't mean marriage is bad. Because your availability for the man that you want to have a relationship with is not making you a wife. It's not making you a wife. Your reason is that a wife is where a man has paid your bride price. Case closed. So when I have 200 children with you, and I have not gone to pay your bride price, you are not a wife. You are a baby mama. And no man must spend on baby mama instead of a wife. If you spend on a baby mama in the same level like a wife, you are a foolish man with no apologies. You need to let the baby mama know that once you are not a wife, there are some things you cannot enjoy. If my ambition is to buy a tear rubber car for my wife, I will not buy a tear rubber car for you too if you demand for a car. If I buy a house for my wife, you are not a wife, so don't cry for a house. These are some of the reasons why people are believing that marriage is bad. I'm enjoying more than even the woman who is sitting there. And me, they travel. No, the fact that they travel with you doesn't mean that you are enjoying more than the wife. Your enjoyment is limited. You have a limited enjoyment. So you tell people out there, when you become a wife, you suffer. You don't enjoy like those of us. No. Once you are a driver's mate, you are planqué. Once you are there and you are a side chick, once you are a baby mama, once you are a hidden commodity that cannot be exposed and cannot be shown out in public, never think you are better off than the one that can be shown and can be exposed in public. Share the page. Share the page. People need to have the desire for marriage. You need to have desire for marriage. You need to see the importance of marriage. You need to know that marriage is the best thing that happened to creation. You need to know that the world can be better when people begin to get married. Listen to me. Don't be afraid of divorce. Don't be afraid to attempt marriage. If your marriage is collapsing today, be prepared to get a new person again. Don't stay without a husband. Don't stay without a wife. Do everything possible. Make your mistakes as a wife. Make your mistakes as a husband, but never stay without a wife. If your husband dies, and you go through the widowhood rite, which is nothing spiritual. Widowhood rite is just an act to know whether when our son died, you were still carrying our baby or not. It's to release you to go and marry again. So when your husband dies today and you leave, your husband dies immediately. Before you finish your widowhood rite, you should be presentable enough for another man to come into your life as a husband. The children who your husband left must have a figure of a man in your life, not a boyfriend, not abayenashi, not talking jolly, not popcorn. Come and taste and see whether I am sweet. A husband, a man must desire to pay your bride price because he wants a wife to succeed. The best support a man can get is a wife. I'm telling you. Don't be a helpmate to any man who has not paid your bride price. If the two of you desire to have sexual intercourse, and within the act, the 3 types of pregnancy I talk about, the unplanned pregnancy, the planned pregnancy, the unwanted pregnancy. If the unplanned pregnancy comes because we're having sexual intercourse and you desire to keep the baby, don't think that that makes you a helpmate for me. You can't be. You can't be. You can't be. Feel ashamed. When you are playing all the roles, you can play a role as a side chick, but never overstep your boundaries and become a wife. Look, you don't play a role as a wife for your bride price to be paid. So the next thing is that the role of a husband and a wife, so that it will entice a man to make you a wife. Because how can I play a husband role that will entice me to become a husband? I can only play my role as a husband when I have become a husband. I can only play my role as a wife when I have been made a wife. So what are we talking about? I mean, a man must see in you that you are a wife material. Are you not well you are a wife material? Have you been a wife before? You should be a woman that can become a wife. So I marry you and pay your bride price. When I marry you and you are not a wife and you are not a helpmate, I drop you and look for a helpmate. And the helpmate is not that a woman is going to work to bring you money. But a woman is going to give you the peace of mind people told you here. He says she's the manager of a home. She's a maker of a home. She's the one who submits to the man. She's the helpmate for the man so that the man can go and hunt. He's the one who chops the man's money. He's the one who makes the man's house look a homey house. He brings discipline in the children. It is the one who makes the children respect who you are. When you are married to a wife, your children will begin to give you respect and desire to do your profession. When your children are making the same mistakes you made, it is not the fault of your wife. It's your own fault that you chose another thing that is called a wife that is not qualified to be a wife. Whatever I went through in growing, whatever mistakes I made in growing from my family house, my wife is not aware. So how would my wife bring the same behavior that I had in my family house before I grew and came to marry her? How would she bring that in my life or my children? I went to school and I completed. I completed school. Whether it's Form 4, that's my level of education. Whatever happened while I complete Form 4 is not known. So why will my children also go to Form 4 and stop? The reason is because if you have a wife who is a helpmate, you need to be doing something for her to help you. Baby mamas, born 1, born 2, those of you who are not wives, never play the role of a wife, because your role play is only recognized when they have paid your bride price. A man impregnates you and you are forced to live with a man. See what's happening to you. He impregnates you, he's not paid your bride price. So he doesn't have right to constantly continue behaving with you like a wife. But look at you. You are living with him and you are producing children. You are a fool. Jimmy, there's no sense in it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make you useful to the man. There is a blessing in wife. Immediately a man pays your bride price and you begin to play your role as a wife, that helpmate spirit comes and the man succeeds because you demand from the man. I can pay rent for more than 30 people. I pay rent for them. But I don't pay rent for my wife. Hello? We pay rent for side chicks. We pay rent for girlfriends. We pay rent for baby mummies. But we don't pay rent for wives. I don't pay rent for my wife. I pay rent because I'm a husband. And my provision is made for a helpmate who is a wife. So anytime I pay rent, I don't pay rent because of my wife. I pay rent because the definition of a husband is the one who provides shelter. Anytime I pay rent for my baby mama, I'm paying it because the law says that I should provide shelter for my child, not for my baby mama. The law doesn't give you right to provide shelter for your wife. The law says provide shelter for your child. So the interest of a baby daddy is the child, not the woman. So watch yourself. You are a baby daddy. You are a baby mama. And I come to you and you give me sexual intercourse and you don't charge. If your baby daddy want to have sex with you, charge him. Because you are practicing an act that you need to charge the fee for. The house I've rented and I'm paying because of my children. The law says they should be under a shelter for some time. And I'll come for them. So when I come for the children from you and go and give them to my wife to take care of them, we will not provide shelter for you under the law. I bought a house for my children, not you. That is why your name is not on the house. It is the children that I have with you's name that are on the document. So the house is for the children. But the house that I am living in with my wife, the name on it is my wife's name, not our children's name. Trouble don't galas. Time is getting up. If a man is trying to show an estate and a property, the property you make when you are with your wife is not for your children, it's for your wife. But when you have a baby mama, the property is for your children. So baby mamas, stop playing the role as a wife. If you want to become a wife, then make sure that your bride price is paid. they pay your bride price, you can be a side chick. You become a second wife, you become a next wife, and that's more important. So stop killing yourself. See the way you are behaving. You are running to the market. You are rushing to the house. Your baby daddy has the right to walk to your house in your absence. Your baby daddy have the right to come to the place and there's some man there. That one, you've not broken any rule. You don't break rules. You are not disrespectful. When you don't have opportunity, they have a visitor, so I can bring you in. So, is there anything you want to see the kids? I bring the kids for you to see them outside there. It is accepted. The rent I'm paying for you is not because of you, it's because of the children. Is that again what I'm talking about? But women have become side chicks, and side chicks are not supposed to provide children for their masters. Immediately you provide a child, you are leaving side chick to be one who becomes a baby mama. Baby mamas are not side chicks. They have a distinction well. There are three categories. We have side chicks. We have sex mates. We have side chicks. We have sex mates. And then once we have side chicks, we have sex mates. We have next wife. And we have wives. And we have baby mamas. So if you are a side chick and you make a baby for me, you graduate from side chick to baby mama. I get in a picture here. The same way when you are a sex mates are only made when a man is having sex with you and is not married. Immediately a married man is having anything to do with you, whether it's sexual, it's non-sexual, immediately you have a relationship with the married man, then you become a side chick. You become a concubine. And it is not a sin. Don't be guilty of that one. It's a stage. But that stage is used to glorify us. Because listen to me, the fact, you see, only it's poverty that delays a man's level of getting a side chick. So when you are there as a side chick, behave as a side chick. Don't behave like a wife. Don't behave as. So listen to me. If you are my side chick and you behave very well, and I enjoy life. When I live long, you enjoy more. That's it. And you see, wives don't have the right. No wife has the right to attack a side chick. You don't have right. You don't have that